everyone. I'm excited to welcome you all to Replo's live CRO Teardown event featuring Sean Brandt, the co-founder of Audit. We're thrilled to have over 100 attendees registered for this event. And throughout today's event, Sean will be taking a deep dive into various websites, identifying potential areas for improvement and providing expert analysis on how to optimize your sites to increase conversion rates. He'll also be sharing actionable tips and strategies that you can use to enhance your website's performance. We'll be accepting submissions as they come in. So if everyone can just please drop your website into the chat, that'd be great. And before I turn it over to the audit team, I'd like to quickly introduce Replo. Replo is a visual web development platform that allows teams to create beautiful, high-performance landing pages on Shopify without the need for developers. Replo is light years ahead of other page builders when it comes to customization and page speed. We have a library of hundreds of proven landing page templates that anyone can use, as well as certified experts who can help build custom landing pages in just a few days. So without further ado, I'd like to extend a warm welcome to Sean and the entire audit team, and thank you all for joining us today. We hope that you find this event insightful, and yeah, thank you again for hopping on.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for coming. Hopefully we can get through as many as possible on this call. I tend to drag on a little bit when we start diving into sites. So I'm going to try and keep it to like 5-minute max per site. So yeah, I think probably the best way to just dive right in. Thomas, if you want to pick which one to do first, should I dive into one Hunko?
Yeah, let's start there.
Okay. Is Richard, you're on the call?
Yes, I am. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm very good myself.
Do you want to give me a little, just a 30-second kind of background on the site and where things are at currently?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are a one Hun company. We started about 2 years ago. Originally have started selling mouth guards and fitness equipment. In the last few months or so, we kind of transitioned into footwear and apparel, and would love to get your opinion on the website, especially on the product pages.
Cool. Okay, well, let's just dive right there then. So I think my first comment right off the bat is, it sounds like you've built a brand in another category and now you're transitioning into something new. I think regardless of the brand, the product, whatever, anytime you're doing that, it's really important to communicate, one, why, and two, what makes it better than something else, right? Like if you're known for product A and you're launching product B, a lot of the times the brand equity in a different category doesn't necessarily translate, especially with something like footwear that is such a specific, like everyone on this call has like their favorite shoes, right? It's a product that we're all wearing every day. And so it's very specific. And I think probably the biggest thing lacking here is just communicating very clearly what makes this either unique or what puts it on brand with like the brand that you had built prior. Or the product that you built prior. Like obviously there's a visual element to it where they look nice. And you kind of dive into like what makes them great here. But it doesn't necessarily tell a story. It's just kind of like, it looks pretty and that's it. So one way we can do that, and one thing I would advise here is showing the shoe on its own in this gallery, like without the background, and then have some arrows pointing out like, here's what's unique about the sole. Here's what's unique about the, lace or Velcro. I can't tell, or like whatever support system is there to keep it on your foot. It's a slip-on, like all these different factors when people are scrolling through these images, pulling that in. The other thing that I would recommend on these pages is some form of lifestyle imagery. So it's one thing to show the shoe like this. It's a whole different ballgame when it's seen on a foot. We've all experienced this like in a shoe store, right? If not many of us shop in stores anymore, but like how many times you've been in a shoe store, you try a shoe on, you're like, no, this sucks. I thought it looked nice. It sucks. That, at least for me, happens all the time. It's important for the user to see this on a foot. even just to better understand the height of the back, like all these different factors, seeing it in situ is extremely important to selling this. The other part of it is there's a trust factor that's being diminished here because I can only see the shoe in a rendering. Now, renderings are awesome, but it's complete bullshit, right? Like all that showing a product in only a rendering tells me is that this guy may not have inventory of this. He may be producing these as he sells them. He may have never even held them in his hands before. And if you can't show the product in reality, it looks pretty and it's nice and polished and perfect, but it's just not reality. And honestly, most customers are going to get converted through seeing it on a foot, on a real foot, ideally a customer foot, not a perfect lifestyle shot with a model. So those are kind of the main things that I would focus on. I know that's all gallery related, but that's kind of where I see the biggest lift here.
I did have a quick question, if you don't mind me asking. How would you feel and how would you implement having these, in-person photos, as well as the photos showing the components of the shoes? Because our priority for the photo gallery, especially in the product section, was to have some type of consistency, which is largely the reason why we went with these 3D models and renders. Would it be possible to somehow incorporate a gallery in the collections page or even in the homepage that shows and details everything that you were talking about, as opposed to having those as like the center focus of the product for a particular colorway?
Right. Are you when you say consistency, do you mean consistency across the images within the gallery or across the different product pages?
Across the different product pages, as well as just making sure that everything is like kind of in line with each other. If we took these in-person photos, there's always going to be like some type of variable, whether it's like a stray hair or just like slight, an inch to the or a quarter inch to the left. Like those kind of components are things that really bother me personally. I'm not sure if you feel like that's really not like worth it,
Yeah, I think that and I apologize if this is a blatant answer, but would you rather be personally happy with your photos or make more money? I mean, that's the decision you're making, right? If you want it to be perfect, honestly, man, do something else. This gallery, because of how much Amazon drives the entire e-commerce world, their data drives the decisions you should be making. And a lot of customers use the gallery on Amazon to digest their information. They don't scroll, period. So you have to surface all the information that's important about your product in this gallery. There's going to be a breaking point where it's too much, too little. You got to find that sweet spot. Every product's different, but showing the reality of this product is going to increase your conversion. So if it's perfect or not, I agree with you. I'm a perfectionist too, but you have to find that common ground. You have to find that middle ground where you're happy and maybe it's not perfect, but it's selling more shoes. And I apologize, sorry, that's a blatant answer, but it's the truth. Showing renderings as pretty as it looks, it's just not going to convert as much.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay. How was I on the time on that one, Thomas? That was more than 5.
Yeah, you're good. Let's jump to this one. I'm going to jump to Embody. And Jennifer, if you're on the call, if you want to just give a little rundown of the site, some background for Sean, he'll kind of take a look here.
For sure. So we're a delicious skincare brand. We basically make skincare gummies to help treat skincare concerns at the source. I actually sent you a preview link. We're going to be going live with the new branding and messaging in a couple of weeks. I just dropped it into the chat. Could we do the audit based on that new link?
The most recent one here?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. This one?
Yeah. So our gummies help minimize routine and maximize the glow from the inside out. And instead of doing topical products, we're kind of recentering our focus back to just ingestible beauty.
Very cool. So my very first comment, and you tell me where you want me to focus, but I'm just going to comment on this header just to start. The first thing I would point out is I don't know what you make. And let's just say that the average customer who lands in this section is looking at it for a second and a half. I'm just making up numbers here.
Yeah.
The primary thing that you're trying to communicate here is that it's skincare by just digesting something. I think that's really unique and great. You've done that in your headline, so there's a win. The issue is that I don't know what I'm eating, and by judging by the image, you're selling fruit. And I know it sounds silly because you're like, oh, look, Sean, in the line below it says gummies, but a lot of times these are information that's being scanned and skimmed. And so I land on this site and I'm like, oh, maybe they sell organic fruit and they have some, documentation about all these different fruits that are great for your skin. If I don't read that second line that says gummies, I don't know that. So long story short, show the product in some way. It's okay to like show the strawberry, and like this girl on the right may have a gummy in her hand. I can't tell, but just show the product, even if it's like holding it in her teeth, like something really simple. Or even like make the headline even more clear, like gummies to promote skincare. Like that's a bad headline, but you know what I mean? Just be more clear about it, whether it's visually or from a copy standpoint. Let's go to a product page. Actually, let's stop here because this is a great example for everyone. So when we're looking at product carousels, it's as much as these like automatic moving things can be really visually appealing. I think there's certain areas that they make sense for and certain areas they don't. So if we just go right here and you see these logos, maybe your brand has been featured in 10 brands and you just didn't want to fit them all. Like that's a great section to just have a slow moving carousel to be like, okay, if they want to sit and stare at this, they'll see all this brand trust we're building. But when it comes to anything that's actionable, that's kind of the best rule of thumb I can give on this example is if there's an action to take, it should never, ever, 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 ever be moving. Because it's like you're tracking with your thumb and you're just, in this case, not giving them enough time to even read this. Yeah, like it's a couple words, but like that SOS one that just went by, I'm reading SOS gummy. I don't know what the heck it is. I don't know what it's for. I don't know anything about it except the title. And especially because it's moving, I can't even look at the packaging and see if I can learn more. So in general, it's just not communicating clear enough. So I would first off turn that off. And then maybe just add a little more details on each of these as to what they're doing, what they're best for, right? Like SOS gummy, and then maybe state a key trade or like a key benefit of it.
Audit.
Just gonna go to the product page.
Or our retinol gummy is our best seller. That's the one that we put the most love into.
Yeah, let's do this. We'll go there.
Yeah.
Love this. Showing the gummy there. One little tip when you're showing stuff like that is in that photo, just show, like, I love this because it shows the size of it. Oh, it actually hovers over the images.
Yeah, we're still fixing that part.
I don't hate it. I've just never seen it before. It just cut in some of these, it covers the content. $28 and no gummy. Sorry, I'm just reading quickly. Super small thing, but just when you're showing, even if the image is a vertical image, just put this on a square background, just so it doesn't, when they get here, it doesn't push your add to cart down.
Got it.
I know it's a small thing, but it'll help. I would find a way. So I don't hate that you have the content below the add to cart here. It's probably worth testing having that above or below. And I only say that because, edible skincare isn't, at least for me, is not something that I'm used to. So I'm going to want to read a little bit more. So I would definitely test having it above and below. It's probably going to convert higher with the button here, but I'd like to see the difference. And then find a way maybe to test pulling in a review up here. Really simple and like clean. Like maybe it's just 10 words, like, some of these down here are pretty long, but find like one that highlights the key benefits that you're trying to communicate and the customer pointing them out and kind of find that perfect synergy and pull that in up here as a content piece, above, you know, these key traits. Like I would just delete this, the world's first retinal gummy, and pull in like a customer or a press piece and like what they said and why it hits all of these factors that are listed below. If that makes sense. Cool. Tommy, let's try one more.
Yep.
Thanks
We'll
so
go
much,
to-
Sean. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Good luck.
We'll try this one, Sean, from Mary. Mary, if you want to just give a little background.
Yep. So Maya, we create sleek and functional bags for women, and the brand actually launched only a few months ago, and we currently just have one product. So the homepage and the product page is very much just focused on that one product.
Very cool. Just watch a video here. How do I close this? So, there it is. What the heck? I can't scroll for some reason. Oh, there we go. Okay, so right up at the top, I think the unique part of your product is that detachable. Like I'm sure there's lots of cool, like from that video, there's lots of cool stuff on the inside, but what's unique, most unique about it is probably the detachable clutch.
Mhm.
And you say that here, but it's really not made clear. The actual focal point of this image is almost like if you just break down the image from its elements, the most complex and visually grabbing element is that bush because it's the loudest in color and everything. So first tip is like, let's crop this in tighter. Make sure you actually see the bag. Like I can't see any details of the bag from this image. And then I would test having this playing in that header because it clearly shows the most complex and the most, you know, the biggest selling feature of the product that makes it unique, which is that detachable clutch. So I would test having that in the header instead, followed by that headline, followed by a shop button. I think that would probably see a higher conversion just because again, all I can really see here in this image is that it's a black backpack. I can't tell what's unique about it. It's a good product images. One thing I would test here is, let me just see, two things. So is every product on your site your brand or do you sell alternate brands as well?
No, just my brand.
Cool. So first tip is like, especially in this area of the product page,
Mhm.
first fold, every pixel matters, right? Every piece of like white space, every line. So if every product on your site is your brand, you don't need to tell them again. Like just that it's your brand. They're on your website, they're your domain, your logo. But delete this entire section here of your name in this white space. And then you have shipping, free shipping on all products. I would test having $275 plus free shipping right here, just as a test. I would test moving this down below your add to cart. With this, I would just have one alternate payment option. So figure out which one is your highest, like just go through sales, figure out, you know, let's say 70% just add to cart buy normal with their credit card, 10% use Afterpay and 20% use ShopPay, just as an example. I would surface ShopPay as the alternate payment option, but I would not surface both here. I would just pick one that's your front runner and push it here. I would also make it an action. So rather than making it seem like this like fine print upsell, like fine print action to take, just make it like a secondary full width action here that says, pay in 4 payments with ShopPay. And then, yeah, sure, you can take them to like the plans and pick, but like make it just a clear, simple action to take instead, and then remove this one. I would definitely, again, going to the like vertical pixels matter here. My gut is that you don't sell a lot of multiple bag orders. I'm just totally taking a guess, but I would remove the quantity selector completely. You could still allow it in the cart, but I would remove it here because it's a lot of space, and you're probably, my total guess is that most of your orders are single bag orders.
Mhm.
Other than that, everything looks great. I think there's a lot of things you do well here. There's a lot of great lifestyle imagery. You'd probably benefit from having a little button here that sits on top of the gallery. That's a little play button, and just have at the end of the gallery that video from the homepage that shows the bag coming out, where it's situated, how easy it is, and let people access that video at all times.
Thanks so much. This is really helpful.
No problem. Good luck.
Thank you.
Awesome. We'll go to Bushbalm next. Logan, if you want to give a little rundown.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bushbalm is a skincare brand that's focused more specifically on bikini line, creating skincare products for the bikini line, and we're starting to move into other body care products as well.
Yeah.
So the company's been around since 2015. We just recently got a new site a few months ago, so it's just working out the kinks with that and kind of seeing where we can go from there.
Cool. I'm just going to scroll through very quickly and just look. I'll just make a few comments on homepage, and then we can move to product page. Okay. So first things first, these are both valuable pieces of content. And I'm guessing that this is established because most people land on the site and they're like, I'm not sure which product's great for me. You've heard that from your reviews or whatever, and this is the decision you've made to put this there. I would just make them both more accessible. So I would probably surface Skin Quiz as a simpler cross section. So like, not sure where to start, take our Skin Quiz, and just make it one full width action. And I would probably move access to the reviews down the page. The only reason I say that is when we click on reviews, while there's a ton of great information here, and it's amazing how many reviews you have, it's not helping customers actually pick a product. They would have to read so much to understand which, I can't even tell which product each of these people used. And so it's actually not helping them shop necessarily. So as valuable as it is, I would rather see this further down the page. You already call out the total reviews up here, which from new customer landing on Bushbalm site, that's the number one thing that it's kind of just like that checkbox in their brain checked off, right? Oh, they've sold to people and people didn't, give them a failing review. 5,000 people did it. That's impressive. Checkbox, it's a good product. So for me, that's more than enough on the homepage. This can be much further down the page. I would run this as a test, but my gut is that, especially because people are, it's not necessarily something they're buying every day. They're not going to just come in here like it's Amazon Marketplace and just start adding things to bag from here. It's very unlikely. And I would guess that from your conversion standpoint and your analytics, it's never happening. I would remove this add to bag function and push them to the product page exclusively. Overall, from all the brands we deal with, we see much higher conversion when you're sending users down that funnel to the product page rather than trying to get them to add to bag from the homepage or even from the collections page. So I would definitely focus the attention on how do we get them deeper in the funnel down to the product page rather than adding to bag from here. Again, it's different with every brand, but I would definitely try that. Excuse me. Let's go to a product page. Which product should I go to? Would be ideal.
Vajacial, if possible.
Okay.
Yeah, that one.
Kit. Okay. So same thing there. Just going back to my last point, remove add to cart from there as well. Okay. So number one thing here is you've got someone who's come to the site. They've went through your homepage or your navigation. They found the product they're interested in. They've probably been on site for 20, 30 seconds now, and they land here. And the first thing you're offering them is somewhere else to go. So if you just think of that from like even a retail experience, it's like someone's like looking for the sign for jeans and they get there and you're like, oh, by the way, like, oh, here's a bunch of t-shirts. And it's kind of a frustrating, it's not like actually, they're not going to be actually frustrated, but from like a click standpoint, where their expected result is this, like right away, this is a really big distraction. And I get that you're, showing them the offer, but like, I would just completely delete this. Maybe it's a pop-up, or maybe it's further down the page. They get down the page and it's like, okay, they're not going to buy this. Let's surface this great offer we have. That's fine. But you're essentially saying, okay, we've got you where we need you to go. Let's go somewhere else. Right. So they're ready to interested in this product, and we're going to take them away from the page. A good rule of thumb is basically, once you've got them to an area of the site where there's like a primary action in this case being, let's get them to add a product to their cart. You don't want to give them any actions that take them away from that until they're further down the page. So from this button, what's that?
Oh,
Sorry?
not till 5:30. Yeah.
It might be just someone.
Oh,
yeah.
Unless there's like really, really good reason, there should be no actions above your add to cart button. It's fine below, obviously, but you just don't want to take them off page initially. So that would be the big thing here, is hide this or just bump it further down the page, because they're not here to shop this product and the free, like that's again, great offer. That's not what they're at this page for. I would split test showing dollars saved versus percentage saved. I would also make this much louder. So maybe it's like this peach color, like as a background, just make it pop off the page. It feels really secondary now, and it's actually a really important piece of information. Everything else looks really good. I would test a sticky add to cart. It shouldn't pop in. So like if they're scrolling, it shouldn't pop in until this is off screen. But I would test one of those as well. Cool. Well, thank you for sharing.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Sean, we'll jump to Luma and Leaf, which we've done an audit for. So Natalie, if there's a new page that you want us to look at, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so we actually made some edits to the homepage. So it's quite different from where it was when you guys did it a while back. I think it was like almost a year ago now. Also, the PDPs have had some changes to it. We added some videos explaining the products themselves and some additional images for the power players for each product. If you could just start with the homepage, that'd be great. And then we can take it to one of the PDPs.
No problem. Okay, first things first. I mean, in general, from a UX standpoint, all data points towards carousels killing conversion, whether they're automated, like automatic carousels, or manual. But I totally see the necessity for a lot of brands. So we'll just touch on the automated part. If you're going to automate it, which I would not recommend, but if you're going to automate it like this, the number one thing to think of is like legibility and time to read. So the best advice I could give you for these, because it's too fast right now, is send it to 6 random people, have them time how long it takes them to read top to bottom, and double it. So let's just say that the average read time was 10 seconds, double it. And that should be how long these are automated triggers, because you might be assuming like maybe the dev team was like, they read it and they're like, okay, 3 seconds. And so they made the carousel 3 seconds, but that's not how this works. When someone lands on the site, maybe they're reading this, then they're reading this, then they're looking at these actions. Like, it's not like they land and they're reading instantly. They're digesting everything else. So you can't just assume that they're reading these. So it's probably a huge conversion killer right now, having that automated carousel be that fast. because there's just no way that they got to keep waiting or clicking back. And even if they are reading really fast, it's just kind of frustrating. So that would be the number one thing there. Just turn off the automation or just make it much longer. Another thing to be careful of is just color contrast. That white on pink is really tough to see, especially if their brightness is down. I love the idea of connecting reviews to products like you have here. But you actually aren't telling them they can shop this. So like if I click on those, it takes me to the collection. Is that right?
Yes.
So there's two issues here. You're not actually telling them there's an action to take. So like most users, if they're clicking here, it's probably an accident. But you also need to tell them where you're taking them. So like my advice would be, I love the idea of showing a review and showing the product, but the changes I would make here is maybe add a little thumbnail, like a profile image of like a head. Honestly, it doesn't matter if it's actually this person. Let's just show that like it's a review connecting a product. And then below each of them, as you scroll through, just tell them where they're going and give them an action to take. So is it shop clear skin serum, or shop all serums, or shop blemish relief, or tell them where they're going exactly? Because even when I click here, right, I think I'm going to shop that product, but I'm not. It's in there, but I'm shopping like, I think what looks like all products within that collection. So again, not a big deal. Just make the action clear and make sure that you tell them exactly where they're going. And then I would also test taking them to just the straight product page. So like you're seeing a review about this skin milk, sorry, not skin milk, serum. You're seeing this review about serum, try just taking them to the serum page.
Okay.
Let's see what happens here. I'm just going to comment on this because it's a good example, but if for everyone on the call, if you look at these images, right? This one, let's ignore this one for now. This one, this one, this one, this one. It's not super clear how big the bottles are, and they don't touch on the volume of the product in here, which is fine. It's not the end of the world, but this image helps give a really clear kind of in situ idea of how big these bottles are, right? Is it that massive like salon size? Is it in my purse? This gives them an idea of a pretty clear size of this. And when it comes to like volume for price, it's really important, especially in things that are liquid like this or in a bottle, to give them an idea of how big it is. So this, I'm pointing out this image is a really great example of just giving them a simple, still beautiful, still showing the product example that shows a reference point of size, right? So this dish, these bricks, this tap.
So this is actually a bundle, but for our like individual product page, we do say the actual volume of the product
That makes sense.
in the description. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, most people don't go in and being like, oh, I'm looking for 60 mil and this is 50. Like that's not a huge concern. It's more just visually, they need to understand if for $36 they're getting, you know, a tiny little sample versus a big one. That's really all you're trying to get through here. And it might even be valuable in this image to have some sort of reference point, because some users won't go past it. So maybe it's a hand holding the second bottle, right? And they have a hand as reference, or just something to test. I think that's good here. Same thing. I would test making this button much larger, and I would test removing the quantity selector. I would not make those clickable. I didn't mean to do that, but I would not make those clickable. For anyone on your PDP, this is a variant selector, so that's different, right? Like I'm picking between two necessary options that I have to pick before I add to cart. But this kind of like comfort zone, if you just imagine like, you know, COVID standing 3, however it is apart from people, like give that button some space. You don't want actions around it. You know, these aren't actually, these don't look like actions. So it's not as big of a deal. But as you can see, I was looking at that text and I clicked it. That's the biggest issue here is if you just imagine someone is on their device, right? And they're about to add to bag, those buttons being right below it, super easy to accidentally click. So if they accidentally click them, now they're at a new page, they got to go back. Seems really simple and stupid, but it's just driving conversion down. The second that you frustrate a customer, no matter how bad they want your product, it's hurting conversion. So never put actions, unless it's a secondary action to add it to cart with a different payment option, for instance. Do not put actions below it. Just make this really clear text. Like I would just make this black, free shipping and returns on this order. And then I would actually like have a section below this that says, hey, you're getting a free gift with this. Here's what the gift is. Just because it's going to help conversion and really break down that barrier of like, do I buy this or not? Showing the free gift. Okay, I hope that was helpful.
Yes, that was very helpful. Thank you.
No problem.
Awesome. We'll go to Made of Memories. And if anyone from Made of Memories is on the call, feel free to give some background.
I think he just sent a message, or he or she. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Says,
Yeah,
says that.
we can go ahead.
That's okay. I'll just dive in. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to scroll first so I can know what the product is. Okay, cool. I'm going to go right to the hard part just to see how it functions. By a second. Okay. Okay, we've touched on this on a call before. I love that we show the orientation here and how many images grid into it. I think that's super smart. Oh, it live updates. Interesting. So I love this, that it kind of shows it in situ as they scale. The only thing I would say is that, and I'm not on a mobile device, so I'm not positive, but my guess is that once they're here,
He's asking, I'm not sure if it's the academy or Sparksman in general, but he says, is there an option for?
Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. If everyone can just mute if they're not talking, that'd be great. Thank you.
It's likely that when they're clicking through that, they're actually not seeing that change because the gallery's off screen, and it's a really great piece of functionality. So my advice here would be, let's move the size selector over here, move the inch and centimeters to the middle, and then just have a little underlined link here that says help me choose, and show one image of those 3 sizes on a wall as a pop-up, just because it's likely they're not seeing that change, right? Like if I'm sitting here picking, I can't see it's changing. Same thing here. It could be getting missed that the price is different. So it might be worth testing, showing the price here. So like 12 by 16, $89, 18 by 24, $99, 109 under here, like show the price for each variant so that it's crystal clear as they're going through it. And same thing here. It's really hard for them to, like, there's a lot of options here. So understanding the price change here as they, so like this one is like, that's a big add-on, right? That's $120 add-on. So just being clear with pricing here. You don't want people clicking through every variant in your product page to understand your pricing model. Like just be upfront about it. It's, you know, if you just hide it and they get to the bottom and it's $300, like it's not it's not going to help you with conversion. It's better to just be upfront about it. Upload your image. So this is where it gets a little confusing for me, because you say upload your image, but then I'm supposed to do 50 to 1,000. So am I uploading one now and the other 999 later? That's a little confusing. I might kind of just say one or the other, like upload them all now, or just delete this section and just say once checkout, you know, you'll have the opportunity to upload all your photos. I just find it kind of weird that it says choose image. Maybe the simple change here is just upload your images up to X number. Click printed. This is a real, like, I like this, but it's probably better suited further down the page. And this info though is really interesting. So maybe like right below the add to cart, it says, you know, delivered as soon as February 24th, right? Like something that's makes it feel like you are live updating when they would get it, instead of making them go through kind of the step-by-step here. Yeah, it's a unique one. That's a tough one. But the good thing about unique experiences is there's just so many different things to test and play with to better conversion. I think this is your sweet spot. Like this is where all the money is going to be made in changes right in this area.
Awesome. We'll jump to this one, Sean. Vital Tonics. Natalie, if you want to give a little background.
Hey guys, sorry, I was on mute. So Vital Tonics rates functional wellness products infused with cannabinoids, and the goal is to help people deal with symptoms such as anxiety, stress, and just physical pain through our cannabinoid-infused products. This is a more design-forward approach we took from our old website, but conversions have not been great, even though the pictures are beautiful. I think already from one of the deep dives you've done into the websites, I realized that people don't know what I'm selling. So any advice you have, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think that's the primary comment I'm going to point out here, and you already said it. I actually 2, 3. So like the only place on your homepage that I can figure out what you sell is, because I can't read it on the package. I'm guessing it's something on over 18 because it says that, but like I have to decipher your newsletter headline to know that you sell CBD products, or guess, because you actually don't say it. So that's like public enemy number one. That's all your focus needs to be on, just a simple addition to say, like, it could be as simple as just a nice, can still be on brand and like really beautiful design. Like if this is the one product, let me just see how many products you have.
I think we have 5 SKUs right now, and our old website did look completely different, but I went with a designer who's just focused on visual.
Yeah.
And it's just not converting as well as our old website did, even though it looks nicer. But I already wrote down the review as a suggestion to put under the picture. That was a great one.
Yeah, like it could be as simple as just opening up the white space here before this next photo, or honestly, I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but delete that photo and just say like organic, you know, like CBD products for that do X, or therefore better sleep, or therefore better skin, or whatever your primary selling feature is. And then just give a really, like, again, it can still be super on brand and really clean and minimalist, but like shop our best-selling CBD tonic, or shop our CBD tonic. Anything that's just like they land on the site and they see the acronym CBD, because Vital Tonics doesn't say it, not like nothing on here tells me it. And so it's just super critical. Even if it's minimalist, you need to tell them what you're selling. And then I would advise just start pulling more in and see where it breaks. So like start with a really clear action button that just says shop the CBD tonic. That's a great start. Maybe there's a secondary action to shop all CBD products. And then if that increases conversion, try pulling in some social proof, see if that, and again, you're going to find that balance of beauty and conversion, and it's going to break eventually, but definitely test pulling in different things here. And then on the product.
Would you recommend me, we'll remove the second, I already had all those suggestions written down from the other audits you've done, but would you recommend I post our first website had more of our products at the bottom, or would you recommend that we just do a review or a description and focus on one strong picture?
I mean, for me, with like a collection that you have where there's what I would consider 3 primary products, and then there's 1 out of stock, and these are accessories. So those are tertiary. I wouldn't even have a collection page. I would have, products, accessories, and on your homepage, I would just show all 3. Like, let's just say that maybe it's 2, maybe in your head, like your sales are 99%, the mask and the tonic. Just show both those on the homepage. Don't bother taking anyone to a collection page, because you're just adding this unnecessary step that's catered to 1% of people.
Okay,
so
that's great advice.
I would just, who cares about the other shit? Like, if they want to really support your brand, they're such big ambassadors, they're going to buy an ashtray or whatever the other products are. Like, they'll figure it out through the nav, they'll find the accessories, but you're selling these 2 main things, sell those and focus on that. And
thank you.
Absolutely put them on the homepage.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
Okay, one last comment here. So just in general, something to keep in mind. Again, it looks beautiful, but whenever you're selling something, and you're making the imagery, just ask yourself, does it need to be this aspect ratio? So aspect ratio being like the crop, is it landscape, is it vertical, is it square? There's certain products where, like, I can't think of a really great example, but like, let's just say a hockey stick, right? Where it's hard to get a zoomed in image of something that tall and skinny without it being a tall and skinny photo. Your products don't need that, right? I don't need a super tall, beautiful backlit photo to show a tincture. So don't use it. You're just pushing all of this, key action down the page for a bunch of gradient, which again, looks pretty, probably no value to the customer. Even throughout here, right? Like this photo, I'm sure in this photo shoot has a crop that doesn't necessitate super tall photo. Same with this one. You know what I mean? Like they're all, I could crop these all right now by downloading them and we wouldn't even need to take new photos kind of thing. So that's a really easy win to just get your gallery tighter and move actions up the page.
This is so great. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. Good luck.
I think we got time for one, maybe 2 more. We'll go to this one, Sean. I believe Stephen, if you're on the call still.
Yeah, I'm here. Hey, Sean.
Hey. Tell me a little bit about the product, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah. So we are an all organic face oil serum that essentially uses all organic ingredients, and it's really designed to heal your skin and also just make you look your best.
Cool. Just going to scroll through very quickly. Love that chart. I'd be really interested to see what performance is like and time to click and time on page if you were to make all of this the same font. I know it's really simple and seems silly, but like as beautiful as this looks, it is kind of clunky to read if you're, so I would definitely just, it's not going to look as good, to be honest, but to just show that paragraph about what you do well in one typeface, one color, one, I think it's an interesting test to run. I would also remove this hashtag Again, providing, it's communicating what you do, but you kind of do that 3 times in this section, right? Like shop skin regeneration. I love how clear that is. You say it here. I don't know if it needs the hashtag, and no one's coming here being like, ooh, a hashtag, I'm going to go share this now. Like it's not going to function that way, as nice as that would be.
Right.
So I would definitely just play with that. I don't think it needs it. The other thing that you don't get when you land here is it one product? Is there a collection of products that are used for skin regeneration? So I'm sure if I click here, it's going to show me.
Yeah.
It's just one, or there's a set. Let me just see.
There is a set.
So I would make that clear that, like, when you think of a lot of e-commerce stores, like there's products upon products upon products, which doing this section of the site is really hard because you've got to decide, am I pushing one thing? Am I pushing one collection? Am I pushing our brand? And you can test all of those different things and they're all going to perform differently. But in your case, you're selling one thing. And so you have the opportunity to just be crystal clear, right? So maybe the headline here is talking about skin regeneration, but the action is saying, like, just shop the serum, because that's what you're selling, is that serum. So any way that you can be more clear here with the actual product output, and like, you don't sell enough products to want them to explore this page. Like, you want them to just click and go through to the product, because you're only selling 1-2 versions of a product. Just get them to the product page ASAP. They don't really need to explore, because
so you wouldn't, because that shop skin regeneration scrolls them down to sort of like, and you can, I guess you can add to the cart here, and all of the clicks here actually go to the product page. But like, what do you feel about keeping them on this page versus taking them to the product page?
I don't hate it. I think it could definitely work. I don't know if they, just kind of thinking through that customer journey, right? Let's say I landed here from an ad because I saw an ad that said that this toner was going to make me look younger. I land here, I see a lot of the same copy from the ad, likely. I click here and I'm down here. I still, I land here. I still have only been told that it regenerates. That's really all I've been told. And now I'm going to add to cart. It's just unlikely. So if this section breaks down all the benefits, and like maybe the add to cart, just test putting it down here. But I feel like at this point, I still don't know enough about the product to add to cart. Again, test both. Maybe that takes it to the product page, and then one takes, like, split test takes it down the page. The other thing I would say is it's not super clear. Just see here. So like the serum is here. The toner is here. So like,
organize those a little.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely could be better organized, but I think that the main thing here is people don't just buy things in bulk for their own sake, unless they're at Costco. So you have to motivate them to buy more products, and just offering more products is not motivation enough. So what I'm getting at is this rose toner is $60. Rose. Yeah. This is $98. I can get them both for $148. Just some cowboy math. They're saving 15%. They're not just going to buy a set because you're like, oh, they pair well together. You're already giving them a discount. Like, beat them over the head with that. Like, hey, shop these together because you're saving money. And like, especially on the homepage, right? Like you got them here, they're down there. You want them to add to cart right away. They should probably know that they're saving money. So that would be one of the major things here, is like, communicate the value of the individual products and communicate the value of them together. And it can't just be, they work good together. That's not enough to sell online. You have to, especially because you're already giving the discount, like, communicate that really clearly.
Amazing. So helpful.
Look at that timing, Tommy. 1 minute left.
Just perfect. Spot on.
Thanks, Sean.
Awesome stuff, everyone. Really appreciate everyone showing up today. Thank you so much, Sean, Thomas, and the whole Audit team. We're going to post this recording on our YouTube channel. The link is in the chat. And our next CRO Teardown will be March 23rd. You'll get a link in an email right after this. So thank you again, everyone. And thanks again, Audit team. We'll see y'all soon.
Cool. Thanks, everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
Thank
Cheers.
you.